Hi, how are
Hi,
you doing?
I am well, thank you. It's good to see you.
You know, it's crazy watching the trajectory. Like every award show is your voice. You're like out there and I'm like, there's MC Lyte doing that. Oh, she's acting. I saw you in Queen of the South. I was like, MC Lyte's a gangster on Queen of that was dope with my man Jamie Hector. Um
Yes,
and
yes.
now you're season two co-creator of a is not a sit is it a sitcom or is it
Cameras.
technically it is
Four
okay.
cameras. Yep.
Partners in Rhyme on All Black. It is a show about a woman whose niece wants to be I guess the next MC Lyte,
Mhm.
and you're training her, I
Yeah,
guess, or
yeah, leading the charge. I'm in charge.
okay. Now you came up with this concept, brought it, shopped it around in All
Actually,
Black.
I didn't get a chance to shop it around. I met with Bentley. We sat, we talked about it, and we had a room full of writers because we were about to really get busy. And an executive was in the room who came just to visit. We pitched out the show. We didn't even have anything written, and they purchased it. And this is right in the middle of the pandemic. So I'm like, we doing deals in the middle of the pandemic. Whoever said everything halted, that was a lie. But we got
Now
it. God is good.
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you attribute that to your walk? Before you came on, I was having this conversation with myself. Apparently, because I talk to myself Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 until people call up. We have a guest or a co-host, and I know that you have a particular walk that you've been on a spiritual journey for several years, and is that part of it? And I just want maybe you could share with us some of where
Yeah.
you've landed.
I mean, I believe so. I think, God has so much for us, but we're always getting in our own way before we can let him arrive with whatever the goodness is. And so if you can imagine someone who keeps leaving the house before the gifts can get there because you think something else is outside of the home. And so you're going, and home is just a metaphor. I don't want your people to think that I'm just strolling out in the street. But the concept being that when you are full and you're happy with you, then all of this other extra happiness can be noted and experienced. And I'm doing interviews all day and I'm like thinking, wow, my peers, they all had their TV shows 20 years prior and they must have been ready. I wasn't ready. And so, especially to go in at this level, executive producer, co-creator, co-writer, acting, it just calls for a lot of discipline and a respect for the craft and for all of those positions. Like, I'm not just saying let me in, I want to be prepared before I get in. And so God had to deal with me and have me, if I want to be treated like an executive, I need to be in a place of business. And if that's not physically, that's at least state of mind. And I wasn't there. I was too busy on the handball court.
Oh, okay. So what happened? When you talk about your peers, I'm thinking about Queen Latifah and Living Single, and now she's on the Equalizer, and everywhere else and in between. I mean, the trajectory of that woman's career has been like, oh my goodness, Will Smith, Fresh Prince, and then before the slap, Oscar, doing all the things.
On his show back in the day, I was on LL sitcom as a bad girl with Clifton Powell. Then Ice-T, Ice Cube, all of the folks that I grew up with, and Lord knows what Tupac would have created had he still been here. We toured together when he was dancing with Digital Underground. So
Wait, pause. Like when he was dancing with Digital Underground, like people don't even realize, that Tupac before he went over to Death Row was in this silly group where with Humpty with the nose and he was a dancer. Give us a Tupac story while you were touring.
Let me clear that up. I don't know that he was a dancer, but he danced. In other
Right.
words, when you're part of the crew and you're waiting for your opportunity, you'll do whatever the empty space, whatever the void is, you'll fill it. So, I know some people who wanted to get on the mic, but they might have had to carry bags, or, everybody did what they could for the team until their time came. But all of that is just to say, yeah, they were all, I guess, ready for the level of success. They believed they were ready. They believed they were good enough. And for me, it was a slow, walk. Outside of, I left the agency that could have single-handedly put me on any TV show, because I went after a strong performance agency. And because of that, I toured the world for a decade after Cha Cha Cha, and, that foundation of hits, a dozen, 15 years, I was all over the world. So I didn't have enough time or enough the wherewithal to know, okay, this is going to end. What's next?
What would you credit with making the shift for you? What was that moment?
There were a couple of moments. I remember being in the studio one day and I was complaining about today's rappers then, and that was in the 2000s, the early 2000s. And the guy behind, the engineer behind the board, was like, well, if why don't if you're that bothered, why don't you just stop? And I looked at him like, how is that even an option? What are you talking about? But to the degree that I was complaining, he was like, why even bother with it if you're that, if you find it that distasteful, why don't you just pack up and go? And I was like, no, I built this. I helped to build this side of the wall to hip hop. I'm just gonna make an answer. And that's when I went in the studio and did a song with DJ Premier called The Wonder Years. Called The Wonder Years. You blink and I appear like a cloud of smoke. I'm like a full court press and you choke when I'm near. Pull up a chair. Let me explain how I maintain the youthful glow. For those that don't know, it's called H2O. So stop asking when I walk by how I look so young and stay that fly. It's elementary. Kick the liquor when you turn dirty 30. The rest is a secret, so I keep it for the worthy. Some of us really should be doing a bid, spitting lyrics that's worse than riddling for kids. They say Lyte, they ain't ready for nothing new, kids, so we kick the same shit as if they were stupid, take the same beat and loop it 50 times. Why not? That other group did it. It's idiotic, average, and robotic. I keep it real. My mental thick like a Harley click. I got them singing Bob Marley hits. They don't want to wait in vain, but I'm worth all the joy and the pain. Come hard when I hit. Hot damn, you know the name, Lyte.
Ha ha!